Oh, hey guys. So, I know I made a video, what was it, a few months ago, a couple months ago, about pay stubs that, due to some circumstances, I would have, it's going to be a shitty video. Um, cause couldn't record them off my laptop like I can at home. Hence where I am now, because, obviously a really good sounding mic, desktop recording, and, well, my headset, my truck broke, so as you heard in the video, there's a lot of fan noise, and that was my laptop, and this one, it's going to be a little bit better. And I've done all the math, was able to do this stuff out a little bit better than last time. Covered out my address, because that's what this big old red splotch is going to be. It's just in the same spot as my address. I don't care if you see a driver code, don't care. But there's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pay stubs. Ending with the last one, 727, of me heading home. I was home before the 27th, but it came out while I was home. Like, what, 5 days while I was already at home, so let's get down to it. So this one came out, we're to start at the end of May, May 25th, okay? 31 miles, came out to a total of 80 cents per mile, 80 cents per mile. But almost 2 hours full of detention, so I was somewhere for 4 hours, don't remember where. I ended up splitting a load here, but I don't remember exactly where everything was going, because, May, here it is, almost end of August, but this is May. Not accidents, it's pretty much, you're rebuilding your deductible back up. It's from back when I got hit twice within like 6 months, hit and runs. And the first one, they build back double. So pretty much $75 coming out. Just that's what those are, hit and runs. But one of these actually just fell off. So really, I'm down to 25 per week for a net of 27.41. Lease payment of $892. You always get the 120 coming out every week. So what? $992, a little over $1,000. Pretty much the best way to do this is, for at least me, is this lease payment, the 120 plus the other stuff equals about $300 every week. So for example, me being on home, I'm going the whole about $300 a week. That's about it. So like this, I would say $892 to figure out how much you would owe roughly each week, give or take some changes. $892 plus $300, so 9, 10, 11. $11.92. This is about pretty good for fuel. Three fills. I did pretty good here, so which means I was getting some pretty good fuel mileage, and found some really, really cheap fuel. So let's go to the next one. This one I ran for 41.56, didn't do so good. As good as the last one, 62 cents on the mile. I don't know, I'm extremely lazy when I start getting up above 3,000 miles. I need to start getting better about that, but this gives you a rough idea of, as you're trying to figure it out, how to like adjust yourself, how well you can do or not do. Because here's that Brew Bridge split up to, I don't remember where, Cal? I guess Mid-Val, Cal? I don't know. Oh, Moreno Valley. There we go. Then I went and grabbed a little more load up to Belgium. And, 3 hours detention? Cool. And I did really good on fuel here. By the way, I'm on home time. All the diesel prices are dropping, so my fuel costs are also going to be, when they're, up there in the range still. They dropped 60 cents while I've been on home time? So pretty much I fill about 1,100 miles I'm filling, so that's about what I'm doing. Since I have a Freightliner and I have a 50-gallon reserve under E, meaning I have 150 gallons it'll show before, and then it'll go on E, and I still have 50 gallons left in the tank. So I have to kind of more like, once you get in the E, guess how far I want to go based on how it's looking, which I've gotten really good with that. and about a 1380, truck payment. Expenses come out for the truck and everything in the truck. Not too bad. This one's not too bad though. For a gross of 25, or I take on 2582. So again, 4156 gave me 2582, which was 62 cents per mile. This one I did pretty good, 2887 miles for a total of 75 cents per mile. So what I took. This what I'm putting up here is what I took home. This week though, I had a drive blowout. So this is after this, it gets a little bit more up and down because of the blowout. And since I put 15 cents back into my maintenance account, that's how I rebuilt it. It got a little interesting. Also, I picked up a trailer out of JBS over there in Cactus. I think it's JBS, yeah. And it had some issues, and I lost a full day there. Down there in Amarillo, sitting at the TA, and they gave me a whole whopping $200 for it. But 2087, slightly overfilled, but filling up for 557 or 555. I'm pretty sure I topped off because I was going into California. Yeah, so didn't know exactly where I was going to go either, so I generally fill up before going to California. So I don't know where I'm going, how far north I'm going to California, or vice versa, so I fill up. And it seems like I only had to have a tank to fill, so it wasn't too bad. I was getting some pretty good fuel mileage. 2887 miles. I took on 2171. So if you take, 1954 was a driver blowout, plus since I was northeast Amarillo, about an hour and a half from Love's. So roadside had 3 hours of round trip for me, so that hurt too. But so $2,000 to go pretty much give me a new tire. There's nothing nearby anyways I could limp to, so downside is back highways. Let's see here. This one's also part of mine too. I had to do something for the back of my truck. I think I had to cut something off or replace something. But this one was, like I said, slightly short week because I lost a day and lost a few hours. Like I lost 5 hours on that blowout. So yeah, let's go to the next one. See, it took 2,000 out. Was that the 15 one? I just lost my track. Okay, 615. That's like I said, when it starts to get interesting. I ran 42.99 miles. It was a pretty good week. Went through some high fuel areas though, so fuel costs gonna be a little bit more up there. I took home 51 cents a mile, but if you take out the maintenance that for the driver blowout the week before, because I'm rebuilding that up, I would have took home 60.66. So. Still a little shitty because of the miles I ran, but also factor in the high fuel cost area because I'm approaching minimum 900, averaging 900 pretty much, and I did 3.5, which was actually pretty good because, like I said, about every 1,100 miles I had to fill up, so I got some really good fuel mileage. So I could have done better if I wasn't in the extremely high fuel cost areas because it's Utah, Wyoming. I think I went through the house on this trip too, so. There's those accidents still rebuilding up. Those, like I said, one of those fell off recently. Like, see, $644 off. So that's 15 cents. I went thrown in the maintenance. So I went from 33 to 39. Still took home 2,200. So it could have been 20. I should have added the other ones. So let's just say 27. So 2,800 I could have taken home with 4,200 miles, 4,300 miles. Not great, not horrible. I'm gonna move to the next one. This one was 7063. It's by far one of my worst checks I've ever done. Here, JCT with 43 cents on the mile. Horrible. I haven't made that since rookie year, my first year. Without the maintenance, meaning rebuilding back up, I would have took on 0.58. This is just one trip for Salinas to Lake City. I don't think I dropped this one, so I got stuck under it. So that kind of hurt too, because I could have gotten a few more extra miles in. Not to mention I refilled by quite a bit. Well, if you think about it, actually, my truck About 140 to 160 gallons is usually what I'm putting in, and at this time would take around what 800, well, 800 and a half, like 850-ish. So I've still did the best I could. I was stopped off to get cheap fuel. I had to get some fuel in California, which kind of hurt. Yucca, Arizona, I topped off. You got fuel in Gallup, got fuel in Van, Texas. I mean, it's only do so much sometimes. Again, the lease payment. I don't think I talked about that one last one. I go back to that. But lease payment, 718, so 1018. Once you back then the 300, that includes this too, the 120. 1187. Like I said, that's rookie pay pretty much. That's pretty much what you would have made if you're a brand new trucker doing these miles. Is you would have made this pretty much. Let me go back to the previous ones. I don't think I talked about the lease payment on that one. The 42, you know. Okay, so this one, what I pretty much paid 14, 17, but 12, pretty much 1237 of that was on the truck itself. Took home 21.98 on the week before with a 42.99. Yeah, here we go. Here's another one, another up and down one. 38.45. This is at the end of June, by the way, so it's 629. For 38.45 miles, I took home 50 cents a mile, which was 19.15. Would have took it home 65 cents without building the maintenance back up from the blowout, which I built that up insanely fast. I think it took me a month. We'll find out here in a minute as I go down. But Jacksonville, Sanborn, Colton to Flagstaff, Flagstaff to Ochaletta. So let's see, how did I do on fuel? Pretty shit. Although if you add these up, like here's a 600 some change. So I overfilled by what, a half a tank. So yeah, about 100 gallons I feel overfilled by, which that happens sometimes. Just yeah, that's why I don't go week by week. I kind of go by month. I kind of try to keep an average across the month instead of focusing really on the week. So as long as I make up for it, like if I had a down week and I make up for the next week, everything's all right then. But it's not uncommon to have a couple bad weeks in a row. 576 into the maintenance. So you know I would have taken on what, 2,600 or 2,500. Round up a little bit to 2,500. 10, 11, 12, so 1,200 paid on the truck. So yeah, I do run. I do prefer to run. So what's this, 629? Yes. Let's go on into July. It's first week of July. I ran 32.25. Made 55 cents a mile. Simple Joplin to San Bernardino, and then Colton to Harrisonville, which is a Walmart. Some of you guys actually might know these videos. Like in Harrisonville is where I got that haircut. How'd I do on fueling? Pretty good, actually. Really, really good. I did about 2.5 fills total. Actually, yeah, about almost 3 fills, but it was slightly less. It was like, what, 50, 60 gallons less. Yep. Maintenance topped off. That's why you didn't see it. So there's no more maintenance. Well, actually, this topped it off. Oh, so there was one in here. I forgot to do it. Okay. So I would have taken home 70 cents. Because, like I said, I put 15 cents in the maintenance. 55, 60, 65, 70. So what I take home, 1,700. Add in another, let's just round up to 500 because, you know, the 51. That would have been, what, 2,200 and some change. Not horrible. Lease payment about 1950 or 950 between these two, or 9, 10, 11, 1138. So if you're seeing some consistency here, I'm pretty much routinely, there's a few in here where I don't, but I'm routinely making 65, 70 cents pretty much. The second week of July, I'm starting to get back into my see, I haven't quite figured out how to be extremely, I guess, penny pinching, I guess, during maintenance. I need to start looking at that more. But so like here we are, 42.64 miles ran this week. It was extremely busy. pretty much I stayed on 40. I went from Olathe, Kansas, down to Turlock. Actually, I don't even know where Turlock is, but actually it's NorCal. So okay, so Turlock, I dropped there. I'm pretty sure. So I stayed at 80. I dropped there, high fuel area, and then I dropped down to Lemoore, California. Got the load and went to Allendale, and that Allendale was up there to Prano. This is Prano load. There was a video about this, and I'm pretty sure there was. Anyways, I was 40 to, I don't know what the fuck, 54 I believe it is, up to Kansas City, and that's why I went. So I tried to average my fuel out on this trip because I knew I needed to make up the first I-80's expensive fuel, and I had a day layover. I don't remember why, but I had one. Oh, and this is also when fuel surcharge adjustment. It was because of that whole month of downtime for the national average, so they just kept it from whatever it was before it went down, which is actually we actually made a few dollars out of this because it kind of dropped a couple cents afterwards. But yeah, see, this is why fueling is a little weird, because I knew I was going to NorCal, I didn't know where I was going exactly yet, so it topped off. I don't know why it's just twice. Must have done it twice, but I don't know where exactly. I don't remember where, but so not bad for the it says 4,200 and a half. So I mean, there's one, there's two, there's three. So it's what, 3.5 fills. So it's actually, I did pretty good fuel mileage actually, if you think about it. I guess I remember to keep track of my fuel mileage. Should I show you guys when I start to talk about fueling like stuff like this? I don't want to do a lot of these videos because how I do things aren't necessarily how you guys do things. So it only gives you a rough idea. But 11, 12, 13, so 1308 total truck. But between these two, 1228. I took home 29.43. So made 70 cents. Okay, let's do the next one. There we go. Here's another great one. I've gotten extremely good about the low mileage ones when there's not maintenance. That is, because if you throw in maintenance costs, you're rebuilding the maintenance, you're losing that 15 cents. It's kind of hard to make that back when you have low mileage. And this is that week, by the way. You guys should know this week is. This is a week where I only ran 2199 miles. That plain wheel load down to had this 2-stopper, Dunn, North Carolina, and then I lost a full day because they didn't know where I was going with the load, and there's a whole video on this. It's that one where sometimes games get played. This is this week. This was everything about this load, but yeah. Plus the load was also a day late being loaded, so I also lost a full day on that too. So I lost 2 days in this week due to bullshits of the shipper and bullshits of part of it was on JCT, and then miscommunication between the shipper, receivers, and JCT. So there's 2 days bullshit I lost. But so this full day detention on, well, it was supposed to be 400, somehow it wasn't, even though I literally did a full 10 there. And then another 2 hours detention at one of the stops, which I guess must have been done. But yeah, actually though, the second stop wasn't too bad. I paid 115 that lumper, that food line down there in Lenore. I believe it was Lenore. It was where the second stop was. But I filled up twice, so I actually did really good on fuel. I did alright. I did about average actually. I thought it was a little higher. So 2 fuel stops. Fuel was relatively cheap for the area. I mean, it's North Carolina, so I mean, it's not exactly cheap fuel. But especially when you're coming down from Michigan to North Carolina, there's not a lot of cheap fuel because it's going through a lot of high tax states. So that kind of sucked. $871 truck payment with $691 between the two, the flat fee, and then because you always pay at $120, and then the $571. I took home $1721. So this is a good example of how to make the most of a shitty week, where I really only ran 5 days here. Okay, I just did that one. That was okay. Now we're on the last one. This is the one that gets me, getting me home. This is gonna be a really weird week because I did a lot of swaps here to get me home. I didn't go the usual way to go home, so usually a little weird. Also, this one had the safety bonus, which I earned it across the whole 3 months, so I factor that into my pay. That's not always guaranteed because like I won't get it this quarter, but if I'm running the full quarter, it's being factored into the paycheck because that was earned. About 3110 miles for a total of 0.75 and a half cents. That's what that 7.755 is. So pretty good. Safety bonus 696, which is 2 cents per mile across for if you hit 30,000 miles. So really, I just do it in one paycheck. But if I could just add, I don't want to do the math of like divide it by how many ever weeks. But let's see. Rogers, Arkansas to San Bernardino. I dropped. I got to live in Carson. Went up to Fernley. Did a swap. Fernley to Cheyenne. This had to be a little backwards, but Fernley to Cheyenne. And then I did a swap with the Walmart load that was going to Cheyenne. That's what this 1 mile is. But I swapped and took the Walmart load from this guy because I gave him a North Platte load, and I took his Cheyenne delivery. That's why it's Cheyenne to Cheyenne 1 mile. I delivered and went home because I'm about 2.5 hours from here. Although I don't like the fact they only paid me for literally 1 mile, and instead of giving me like a local pay, that would have been a little, thanks type, like a thank you, we appreciate it type thing. So because it could have been like $75 instead of $1. But I was out at Walmart. I said, hey, I'm going home. You might get me out. And they're like, yeah. I was out of there within an hour. So I was unloaded with 10 pallets within 20 minutes. So that's what Cheyenne Walmart, by the way. Great Walmart. It's a reefer side. But how did I do for 3,100 miles? Pretty good fueling costs, actually. Pretty good. This is actually reefer, I think it was the Laramie, I believe. But I think for some reason the card wasn't filled up, so it wasn't working, so I just ate the cost myself. Yeah, pretty sure that's what that was. Okay, so 9, 10, 11, 1107 for total payment of everything in the truck going out, or 927. And I took home a total of 2349. So yeah, can you get some consistency here? Yes. Do you have to run? Yes. Does this show you that if I actually was making a percentage, I could do much, much, much better because I have a extremely low operating cost? Yes. So really, I'm working on something in the background. I'm still waiting to hear about it. But yes, I am trying to get on percentage somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know, but it's just a little tease. Either way, I'm not getting my hopes too much up, but this just kind of shows you guys that hey, I have a relatively, well, actually pretty extremely low operating costs because my truck is very fuel efficient. Even though like I get about an average 7.5 to 7.7, and running at 70, I could do better if I dropped it, but my pay is very consistent. The reason why I don't want to run as hard to make this money, and that's why I'm kind of looking for a percentage. But that's all a different story. But hey, I hope you guys stay safe out there. Next time, bye.